if you constantly see yourself as a victim, all you ever do is reflect on how you're a victim. Guess what? You're gonna always be a victim because you're never gonna correct the behaviors that put you in that position to be victimized. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. You can support uncensored conversations via Cash App or buying your girl a coffee.
So talk to me. As y'all can see it on the thumbnail, we talked about, basically the thumbnail is you choose your baby daddy. So talk to me, Sandy. What made you want us to, spark this conversation today?
I really feel like the statement alone is just one broad statement that isn't correct. Because we don't necessarily as females choose our baby father. A lot of the times, and this is also going back on the conversation that you and Tay had yesterday, sometimes us females, we are looking for a relationship but end up in a situationship. Or we could be in a, what do you call it, like a traumatic situation or trauma bond. A lot of females nowadays are looking for a relationship to get over another relationship. And a lot of the men, they focus and I don't want to say necessarily hunt, but they look for those that are weaker because they feel like they can get over faster.
It's still a choice. Words have meaning. You can make a statement about maybe being duped, somebody presenting themselves as one way and then they switch up and they change into a whole new person, even though I think the red flags were there, you just ignored them. It's still a choice. Like, these words have meaning. What's so interesting about this was I was listening to Think Before You Sleep video. What he kind of talked about in that video was how the education system really dumbed down the kids. Instead of learning what words actually mean, they're taught to think about how the word makes them feel rather than what it means. Even when you're like reading different books or, trying to interpret what somebody has written or what somebody has said, they're taught to think more about how it makes them feel rather than the author's intentions, rather than what the author was trying to communicate. And you'll see this in comment sections. You write something that is very clear cut, makes sense, you explained it, and then someone sees one word, a trigger word, and then they just lose it. They completely ignore context, they completely ignore intent, they completely ignore every other detail that you had in your comment. And the reason why is because they're not taught to actually read to understand. They're taught to read and react, not to understand. So that's what's happening here. She's heard trigger words that trigger her. It's like the definition of these words does not matter, even though you literally are choosing your baby's father. Unless you're in a situation where you've been graped, that's the one situation where I'll say you didn't quite choose, and even then you still kind of chose, because we have abortions. Even if I personally don't believe in them, they are available. I'm not going to judge somebody that's been through such a traumatic event doing that. I'm not going to judge them for that. Even in that sense, like, you still have choices that you can make. She's triggered by the fact that it's pushing accountability onto the woman as to why their baby daddy ain't ish. And because she's triggered by that, it's like, no, it's not a choice. And this is the other part. Women, we need to stop infantilizing ourselves. We can't be out here talking all this boss girl and then also infantilize ourselves in the next breath. It's very hypocritical. We are grown. We make choices. They might not be good choices, but there are choices at the end of the day.
For example, not trying to put my business out there, I was in love with a man that I didn't even know for 2 years. Didn't know until, as the old folks say, you never know someone until you live with that person. So it wasn't until I personally moved in with this person after being in a relationship with a year and then finding out that he is the complete opposite of who I originally fell in love with. And a lot of people don't understand when it comes to like mental illness, if a mental illness is not being dealt with, corrected, it's going to turn into something that's going to be 10 times worse. So you might have a manipulator, and that manipulator may scheme you out of $3,000. If that person does not get situated, get therapy or some type of help, that $3,000 can turn into somebody's life.
Like I said, y'all have choices in these matters. You are still making a choice. So even with the person being manipulative, and look, I understand people can be very greasy, very slimy. I feel you. It's up to you to either avoid those people, to be able to figure out, this person ain't ish, this person is slimy, not ignore the red flags. It's up to you you to do that because look, the world is going to always have shiesty people. There's never going to be a world where it's a utopia and all the good people are just the only people there. There's always going to be somebody that's foolish and there's always going to be somebody that's trying to scam you. So it's up to you to play the game smart. It's up to you to move with intention. It's up to you to do what you have to do and make sure you weed out the people that want to cause you harm, physical, emotional, or even financial. It's still you. You're still choosing to interact with that person. You're still choosing to give them the money. You're still choosing to do all of these different things. So at the end of the day, I can feel for you because, you were scammed or you feel like you were, slighted or lied to. I can feel for you all day, but at the end of the day, you still have to self-preserve. Self-preservation comes with moving smart, not just being loose goose when you're out here in this world, interacting with people that do want to scam you. So stop infantilizing yourself. That's the other part. If you've really gone back and reflected about this situation, then you would already be picking up on different things that you did to contribute to the situation. Typically, people who do that, that's the first thing they're going to say. Before they start trashing the other person, they're going to throw themselves out there, throw themselves under the bus to say, look, I should have did this. I should have did that. Yes, this person was like this, but I should have noticed it because this, that, and third. I don't think she's actually reflected on that relationship outside of how am I a victim? If you constantly see yourself as a victim, all you ever do is reflect on how you're a victim. Guess what? You're going to always be a victim because you're never going to correct the behaviors that put you in that position to be victimized. That's the part. Stop infantilizing yourselves. You have choices. You didn't have to give him that money, sis.
Because this man, I didn't even know he was going through what he was going through. And I'm trying to help him be a submissive girlfriend because I feel as if he would be the man that I seen because he was definitely courting. He was definitely opening the doors. He was showing me everything that a man has never shown me that I feel as if my father would be proud of.
I'm sorry. Opening the door is very bare minimum. If that's what's really like making you think, oh my God, this is a great guy, then your bar is all the way in hell. Opening the doors is literally just bare minimum. It really doesn't require anything from the man. No wonder that's all it took to scam you was opening a damn door. This is why fathers need to be in the home. Because if your father was opening the door for you, if your father was already doing these things for you, guess what? You're not going to be impressed. You're going to expect that. The things that will impress you will be things that are related to that man's character and how he's moving, how he's speaking to you, how he's covering you, all of these different things. That's going to impress you, not opening a damn door. You can open a door. Hell, I open doors for broads all the time. When I'm going to the store, if I see the door, I open it, or if I'm walking through the door, hell, I'll leave the door open for a man. It's really, that's not, no, honey, no. No. It's nice. Don't get me wrong. I love a good, polite, keep the door open or open the door for me so I can walk through. I love that. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing or saying that that's worthless or anything like that. But what I'm saying is, if that is what was showing you that this man was somehow different from the rest, that he was somehow a better guy because he's opening doors, your bar is all the way down there with Satan.
Just to find out that he is a sociopath, a psychopath, a manipulator. Like, he is so many things, and it's crazy because I'm talking to my therapist about this man, and everything that she is telling me didn't dawn until I personally, as a victim, went and got the therapy that I needed, and it was brought to my attention that, dang on, he is all of these things. So I didn't choose to have a child with this man because I knew that he was a manipulator. I knew he was a sociopath. I knew he was a psychopath. But what I fell in love with was who I thought he was and who he shown me he was prior to the movement.
Sis, that's still a choice. Regardless if he was a shiesty mofo, regardless if he was cosplaying as a good guy, you still chose to give him a child. See, this is what I'm talking about. A lot of these folks do not know what words mean. So when they hear choice, they think, oh, you're happy about it. Oh, you're excited about it. Like, that's not necessarily choice. Yes, you can make a choice out of happiness, and the choice could be yours. You could be excited about it. Choice just means you made a decision. Did you or did you not make a decision to open them legs to that man unprotected? That's the part. If you found out you were pregnant, you weren't trying to get pregnant, did you or did you not make the choice to keep the baby? It's still a choice at the end of the day.
We were engaged. We were like about to get the situation situated. That wasn't a choice that I wanted. The choice I wanted was what he portrayed himself to be. So now here I am because I was in love. I don't believe in abortions, but I chose to sleep with a man and have a family with a man that I thought I knew. It wasn't necessarily the choice that I know he's all of this. I don't care. Open up shop.
That's not what choice means. Even if you make a bad choice, it's still a choice. Even if you get scammed, you still made a choice. These words have meaning. This is what I'm talking about. She does not know what choice means.
No, it wasn't none of that. And now here I am. I'm stuck. Not necessarily saying that I'm stuck, but I'm definitely stuck with a 1-year-old. You feel me? Because in the midst of the situation, I'm thinking that I'm creating a family. I'm engaged. I'm in love. Like we're staying together. We work. And in order, yeah, you can say like a family without marriage, but at the end of the day, in order to get to that point, as what y'all stated yesterday, you have to do what?
You said to get to say that one more time, that last part.
I said the same thing y'all stated yesterday. Remember when I had mentioned the question, should a man court his female, and should a female be submissive to a man who is not his wife and who is not her husband?
My answer to that was that y'all should be submissive to men anyway. And if it's not worth being submissive to, you shouldn't be with him, period. Right.
Even if you're just dating, there is a level of submission that you kind of have in the dating process. When a man plans a date, he comes and takes you out, you're submitting to his program. You're submitting to what he said he wants to do on that date with you. So there is a level of submission, but full submission, that's something you need to say for the person you're going to bring children into this world. Or if you are one of the people that believe in marriage with the state, then yes, under that marriage with the state, then you get that full submission because he is now responsible for covering you. He is now legally responsible for covering you. That full submission should then be there. And the reason why I say it shouldn't be there entirely until there is a deep commitment, whether it's with the state or spiritually or whatever the case may be, is because you still have to protect yourself. So she submitted right away, 1000%. That's what allowed her to neglect or refuse to see the red flags that were most likely there. When you fully submit to somebody that you do not know, then that's how you get scammed, because you're just going with the flow, just going with the flow. And this person is literally doing all sorts of things that should trigger your spidey senses to be like, this ain't right. I don't know about this one, Chief. You should have that feeling of, I don't know about this one. But if you fully submit and you fully just give yourself to the situation without having that skepticism, without having that, okay, I need to have me, then that's how you end up scammed. Once that man proves to you that he is worth full submission, once he proves to you that he is going to keep you safe, whether it is physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, keep you safe, once he proves that, then you can give that full submission, because guess what? You vetted him. You know that you are safe with him. Therefore, you can be completely vulnerable with him. Now, being vulnerable with the person that you're with, it is by all means one of the most beautiful things you will ever experience. Being vulnerable. Justin has seen me at my most vulnerable, and even though it's tied to like a traumatic event, it's still also beautiful at the same time. And I don't know if this is the best way of explaining it. If you've experienced it, then maybe it's gonna make sense to you. In those moments where I was going through something very traumatic and I had to be, well, not just had to be, but I was vulnerable, very vulnerable with Justin, I look back on those times and I have a well-rounded feeling about it. I know how I felt with the, feeling embarrassed or feeling vulnerable or feeling like that, this, that, and the third. But then also I know that feeling of warmth and care because Justin was there for me through those times. That vulnerability that you share with somebody that you trust it truly is epic. But when you give that level of vulnerability to the wrong person, then they're going to see that as, I can use this against them. I can use this to get what I want. Not, this person is being very open with me. Let me meet them with openness as well. Let me meet them with comfort. Let me create, and I hate the term safe space, but it essentially is, let me create a safe space for this person that I love. When you completely submit to somebody and you haven't vetted them, then you're opening yourself up to get scammed. You're opening yourself up to get ran through. You're opening yourself up to get hurt. So while there should be a level of submission there, just because of the dynamic between man and woman, you still need to preserve self. You still need to have your wits about you so that you can see, oh yeah, that's a red flag. Maybe I need to look into that before I give this man full submission, before I give this man a damn child. When it comes to the submission, there's levels to it. Just because you're not giving full submission doesn't mean that you're combative. Those two things don't have to be at the same time. They can be, but they don't have to be. You can still protect yourself without being combative and aggressive about it. You can do it a different way where you're still maintaining your softness, you're still being courteous, you're still being good to that other person while also protecting yourself just in case they're a scammer.